Hi, welcome to Mission of Mercy, our hygiene department. I'd like to introduce you to one of our hygiene leads, Lee Fifield, and she's going to talk to us a little bit today about what hygienists need to know when they're at Mission of Mercy.
Yes, thanks, Cindy. I want to be sure that I touch on some points that will help the hygienists have a smoother experience while they're volunteering at the Mission of Mercy Hygiene Clinic. So as you approach the site, you want to be sure to have your parking permit visible in the windshield so that the attendants can direct you to the volunteer parking and the entrance for volunteers. Once inside, you'll check in, receive your t-shirt, and be directed to the hygiene clinic.
And are there any special supplies that hygienists need to bring with them to Mission of Mercy?
I think it's always good to have your own supplies with you, especially things like loupes and lights. Most people work more comfortably when they have their own things like that, but they will be supplied for general supplies. Each table, for every 4 chairs, there will be gloves and masks and hand wash and various items. There will be boats set up with everything that's needed on the tray, a packet of hygiene instruments, suction tubes, patient bibs, 2x2 gauze, and different supplies like that that are needed for the hygienists to use for prophies.
And for hygienists who maybe have never volunteered for Mission of Mercy, it's important to let them know probably that there will be a station where they can pick up all of that sterilization for hygiene, right?
Yes, and we may have volunteers that will get the newly sterilized packets and bring them to the hygiene clinic for us. That's my goal, is to try to do that.
When you're on the floor, there's so many people, but there seems to be such organization. I see these cards. I see green, yellow, and red that different hygienists will hold up at different times. What would you like the hygienist to know about that process?
The cards are a way to help the escorts know when a patient is ready to be picked up. So once the patient has finished their treatment, the red card is raised, and the escort comes to take the patient on to the next clinic unit. And then when you're ready to start with a new patient, the green card is raised. So then the escort knows, oh, there's a chair ready to go, and they can just help bring that patient right there. And then a yellow card is available if you need some questions answered or if you need assistance, and the leads will be there to help oversee that and come to your aid whenever you need it.
And what do they do with all of the different instruments after they've finished with their patient?
There's going to be a central location at the table where the soiled instruments will be gathered, and Central Supply volunteers will come and take those to Central Supply. It's important to know that no sharps should go into the boats or onto Central Supply. So there will be containers that are used only for sharps.
I understand there's going to be the red bin for those sharps, and in the past there have been different people on the floor coming by something like every 30 to 45 minutes to help out with that collection of dirty instruments.
Yes.
So that will be helpful for the hygienist. This way they can keep moving forward with their patients.
Absolutely.
What would you like for your hygienist to know about the system, the HIVAC?
Oh, yes. It's a very, sometimes can be a challenge working in a non-traditional environment with unfamiliar equipment, but it's important to know that the evacuation system is designed in such a way that we do not ever want the patients to make a closed seal on the tip of the suction tube, and after suctioning in the mouth, they need to lift the tube towards the ceiling before turning it off. At the end of the appointment, when there's tear down of the soiled equipment that was used in preparation for the next patient, they will evacuate a special fluid through the system to help keep everything flowing well.
And I understand there will be a card on the table, so if anyone forgets what the procedure is, it's right there.
Yes,
And after each patient, there'll be a pre-mixed line cleaner solution.
yes.
And is it 1 cup that you would like them to pull through?
1 full cup per suction device. So if they have if they've used the high-speed suction device and the saliva ejector, they'll need a cup for each of those.
And I understand from other Mission of Mercies, there's something like 5-gallon containers that will be throughout the clinic floor. So this won't be something that's difficult to obtain.
Right, it'll be handy. Usually volunteers will be bringing the cups to them when they see the red card come up. They're very good about taking care of the hygienist that way.
So let's talk about the expectations and goals for hygienists. How many patients would you like them to see?
I would like them to see a patient an hour.
And what are some of the procedures that hygienists should know that are being performed at Mission of Mercy, and then which ones aren't? Let's start with the procedures that are being performed.
Okay, we'll be performing prophies for adults and children. Even though there is a pediatric clinic, there may be some older children that will come to the hygiene clinic. And so we'll be doing the prophies, we'll be placing sealants and fluoride varnish.
And debridement.
And debridement.
And let's talk about some of those procedures that hygienists will not be performing at Mission of Mercy.
We will not be doing scaling and root planing or curettage, or we will not be doing debridement in the case where a molar has been extracted for infection control reasons.
We talked about procedures that hygienists will and will not be performing at Mission of Mercy. Sometimes there's a patient that a hygienist would like to anesthetize.
Local anesthesia may be provided by those hygienists that are licensed to do so. But I'm feeling that since we're not doing scaling and root planing at the clinic, that it'll be limited the amount of anesthesia required for the patients.
And there's probably one of the most important things that we really want to make sure hygienists and everyone who's volunteering knows.
I'd like them to have fun, and hygienists do best with providing good care, excellent service to the patients, and I know they will for our patients for the Mission in Mercy.
And maybe to be flexible, because being on the clinic floor is not like being in your doctor's office.
That's right. It's a challenge to be in an unfamiliar environment doing what we do, but I know that they'll be flexible and everybody will have a great time.